Now, as I'm sure you saw in the title and the thumbnail, there is new equipment coming to the game, and it's literally going to kill Rise of Kingdoms. This is probably the worst decision ever made by Lilith, and since I'm not sponsored at all, I can completely bag them out for this. So today, I'll be discussing all the changes coming to the game, why this is probably the worst thing they've ever done for all players, low spender, whale, free to play, mega whale, doesn't matter where you are in the game, literally these are the worst decisions they've ever made. I will discuss the changes that are actually coming to the game and how to try and prepare for this absolutely garbage update so your account doesn't get completely screwed over. So if you want to know the meta changing stuff coming to the game and how to at least prepare for the rubbish they're going to be adding, you definitely want to check out the rest of the video. Now let's start off by reading this verbal diarrhea, and the first thing they said is the new equipment is going to all be legendary quality. It will include level 50 helm, chest, gloves, legs and boots for the 3 main troop types, as well as a level 55 weapon for each main troop type. The new helmets, chest, gloves, legs and boots will have set effects, so for example equip 2 or 4 items for added set bonuses, and the weapons will not have set effects. When they say level 50, they mean the required level to use it. So you can see here, every single piece of equipment has an equipment level, and your commanders have to be that level for you to equip it. The level itself doesn't really matter, it just kind of shows the power and the cost of that equipment. So level 50 equipment currently is going to cost you around 90 legendary materials. Level 55 is probably going to cost more, not really, we'll talk about that in a minute, and level 50 equipment is probably going to be the same as level 45 equipment, just going to replace it. So level 55 equipment will be like new Season of Conquest weapons, new Season of Conquest helmets. Level 50 equipment will basically just be like normal legendary equipment that most players would be using. Then they said the materials required to forge new equipment will be the same materials required to forge level 45 equipment of the same unit type and equipment slot. I don't think this will apply to the level 55 equipment, only the level 50, but it could apply to both. From what I would understand, the level 55 equipment will cost the same as current Season of Conquest equipment, so that means that, for example, if your current weapon costs 90 materials, I think that the level 55 will cost also 90 materials. Then they said level 50 equipment can be used in all seasons. That means Season 1, 2, 3, and Season of Conquest. And level 55 equipment can be used only in Season of Conquest. Forging and refining new equipment will work the same as other equipment. I think that was to be expected. Then they stated the new equipment will be added to the game gradually and relevant events will be adjusted as the new equipment is added. The specific plan is as follows. And finally, Lilith is actually being open about the updates and giving us specific plans for them. First of all, in early October this year, the rules for dismantling legendary equipment will be optimized. When dismantling a piece of legendary equipment, the higher its refinement level, the more materials you will be refunded. So let's say your refinement level 50, you might get 60 or 70% of materials back, and also you'll be able to view the actual numbers when the update releases. If you actually dismantle any legendary equipment with a higher value of refinement or a special talent before the update goes live, you'll be somewhat compensated for this. I don't recommend dismantling legendary equipment at all currently, and also this kind of just means that you're going to get some more materials back if you're a mega whale and you do for some reason dismantle your legendary equipment. Then the equipment preview feature will be added to the blacksmith, so this means we're going to be able to see the actual equipment they're adding. I don't think it's going to mean anything special, it just means we're going to see the stats, how to get the equipment, and what it's actually going to look like on a character, like I guess at least when you look at it. Then level 50 equipment content in this version, a new type of chest will be added, so the rewards of Ceroli Crisis, Ian's Ballads, and Golden Kingdoms will once again be changed. So they've done it before with the siege equipment, they did it with the leadership equipment, and they're going to do it again with this new equipment. So do keep that in mind if you are going to be doing these events. You're going to get new chests, which are going to give you more blueprint fragment choice chests for the new equipment. They're going to have the new pieces in them. Blueprint fragments for the gloves and chests can be earned by taking part in the Holy Knight's Treasure and Hunt for History events, or by opening those blueprint fragment choice chests we discussed before. This means that they're only going to add the gloves and the chest piece first, and they're going to add more Golden Kingdom chests and all that stuff as the updates continue to go on with the other pieces. So maybe the next update they'll add glove, chest, legs, and boots, and then after that they'll add like the helmet as the last piece. As for level 55 equipment, you'll be able to see what they're actually adding. So first of all, once it goes live, you'll see the actual blueprints in the Season of Conquest shop. So once it's added, anyone in the Season of Conquest currently will be able to see what they're adding to the game and what it's going to look like, the cost of it, what the stats will be. That will also be in the preview section, but you'll be able to see it in the shop. You won't be able to purchase it though until a later date. Also, the schedule for Holy Knight's Treasure and Hunt for History will be unified across all kingdoms. And finally, the Arms and Armor event will begin, so this is just another equipment event. You'll get some iconic crystals and other valuable rewards. Then in November 1st of this year, Starting from this update, 2 new Crusader achievements will be added to Season of Conquest Lost Kingdoms. By completing these, you'll earn Conquest Coins and other valuable rewards, so you'll probably get 2 more Conquest Coins. That's decent since we are getting new equipment in the Conquest shop. At least you'll be able to access it a little bit easier. Then on December 4th of this year, the VIP shop Infantry, Archer, and Cavalry random chests will actually be changed to include the new equipment. So the level 50 equipment will show up in these random fragment chests. These are like the worst value in the game. Do not buy them. But if you do for some reason, you will have a chance of getting whatever the new equipment is. It's going to be a low chance, but it is going to show up in here. The next thing they did was they pretty much changed how the Season of Conquest equipment works. So if you go down like to the bottom right here, you can see that after the update, all the current stuff for the Season of Conquest shop that is not an accessory, all the current equipment will pretty much be swapped to becoming normal equipment. So for example, the Hydra's Blast, which was the legendary archer bow that you could only get for the coins, that like the season coins, will be changed to just normal equipment. You can get it in Holy Knight's Treasure, you can get it in Hunt for History, you can get it in just Blueprint Fragment Choice Chests from events like Ciroli Crisis, In's Balance, Golden Kingdom. These are pretty much going to become normal pieces. So anything that's currently Season of Conquest, like level gear, is going to become a normal piece of equipment. That means it can be used in Season 1, 2, 3, and you can get it quite easily. They then also stated in a later mail that all the current Season of Conquest gear will actually go down in price. So the Hydra's Blast and all its respective weapons that can be purchased for Conquest Coins, and also, let's say these helmets here, which are also Conquest Coin only, will actually go down in price to both craft and also refine. If you want to check that mail out, you can check that out. It will be in your system box. Everyone received it. I'm not going to go over it, otherwise the video would be too long, but basically they're going to reduce the cost. Then after this, they're also going to be changing it so that the level 55 equipment will be available in this update. So you'll be able to get the equipment from the Conquest shop, and you can purchase up to 3 copies of each blueprint per season. So you can get 3 weapons. That means we can either make 3 weapons or refine 3 weapons, which will be nice getting 3 refines and a weapon, but it's not going to be completely game-changing. Most players won't actually be able to afford 3 copies unless they go down to 1 Conquest Coin each. I don't think they will. It's going to cost you 6 Conquest Coins. No one's ever getting 6 Conquest Coins per KVK. Also, I forgot to mention, I think, that the current KVK equipment that you get in the Conquest shop will be available to be used in any season. Then the final addition they're adding is the new level 50 legs and boots will be added in a future update to the Holy Knight's Treasure event and Hunt for History event, and the new Blueprint Fragment Choice Chest. So stay tuned for more info, blah blah blah. Thanks for supporting Rise of Kingdoms. Now, I'm sure you're reading this like, why are you like so mad about this equipment? Why do you really care? And I'm going to ask you 4 questions. First of all, how many pieces of legendary equipment do you currently have? Second of all, how much time have you spent to get that equipment? Third question, how many materials have you spent getting that equipment? How long has this blacksmith been running its ass off to give you the materials you need? And finally, how much money have you spent on your equipment? We'll see all of those answers. If you spend any amount of money, any amount of time, anything on any equipment, put it in a fire, piss on the fire, and throw the fire into a river and lose it all. Because that's what Lilith is basically doing here. They're basically saying, oh yeah, we're adding new legendary equipment. Guess what that's going to mean for anyone with any legendary equipment? Oh yeah, it's 90% useless. Your accessories can stay okay, but everything else is just gone. All the current legendary equipment you have is going to be way weaker. All the new legendary equipment is going to be way stronger. It's going to make you basically restart from the beginning. Even whales are going to restart because, like, what are you going to do? You stick with the same equipment? Lilith doesn't think so. They're going to keep adding that equipment until you're like, okay, everyone's using it now. I have to go and get it. And you're going to end up spending the money. And just to add even more insult, they're basically saying, oh, you can also dismantle your equipment now because you know what? It's going to be useless. Haha. We're making dismantling even better. You can dismantle your special talents for more materials. Wow, what a steal. Jesus, just like why? Why? They're literally basically saying to your face with this run here, changing the rules of dismantling, that like, whales, you should be dismantling all your equipment. Even if you spend $1,000, it's going to be difficult to keep up with the equipment because people spend thousands of dollars over multiple years to get their equipment to the stage it's at. It costs resources, it costs time, it costs materials, it costs a lot of things to get talented equipment. And they're adding new equipment, like full new sets, and not just like iconics. They're not adding iconics. So iconics are like, yeah, they're really easy to get. Most players can iconic their legendary equipment. If you have a ton of equipment, it's going to take longer, but you can still get it. It's completely new equipment. And the worst part about this is we already have a ton of new stuff. Like, we got armaments. This is the most big cash grab thing I think Lilith has ever done to this point. It's like, you have some chance of getting blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to rant about armaments, but we have armaments to work on. We currently have a bunch of commanders flooding their ass into the game and not even slowing down at all. Like, Lilith is speeding up the amount of commanders they release. And now they're adding more equipment just to make our lives way better. Like, it is ridiculous how much stuff they're adding and how bad it is. all your current equipment is literally useless now. Look at it and say, oh yeah, that was fun. I know I spent hundreds of dollars doing that. Personally, I've spent hundreds of dollars on my equipment. I might as well just let's start dismantling it right now so I can get some extra stuff for my talented legs. Let's go. Wow, what a steal. And then, don't forget, that means epic equipment's going to be worse. Look at epic equipment now. It's still decent against legendary equipment, but once new, stronger legendary equipment comes out, it's not going to be able to keep up. It's going to fall behind and be much weaker. So you can't even be a proper free-to-play, like, epic equipment player. You're going to be forced to get legendary equipment. And then I think that Lilith isn't going to stop here with power creeping legendary equipment. This is me guessing at this point, but I think as more and more updates come through and more stuff is given, they're going to just basically go, oh, we have more equipment now. Because they unified Holy Knight's treasure hunt for history and all that. It's basically become like Wheel of Fortune. And that means they're just going to keep adding equipment and just going to keep on adding it. It's going to be extremely difficult to keep up with equipment meta if they do that. That is a guess, but it is probably where they are going to head with it. Now, how should you prepare for the coming update? And since I'm not sponsored by Lilith, or I'm not an affiliate for Lilith, I'm going to say what I'm saying is allegedly what they will tell you to do. Lilith would allegedly say, buy the geared up bundle, max buy it completely to its full potential. They would also allegedly tell you to go into the supply depot and buy the 7-day material supply for the next year and a half. Don't forget, while this bundle is basically finishing itself off, rebuy the geared up bundle and finally purchase 1,000,000 gems so that you can actually do the events to get the new blueprints and enough to refine them. Because you know what we say, milk the whales, piss on the free-to-plays. For you free-to-play, low-spender players, at Lilith, we allegedly recommend that you go and get a job and give us your money. Now, if you actually want to prepare for the update, honestly, there's not much I can tell you. There's no secret trick to prepare for this absolute garbage. Only thing I can say is don't make any equipment, like just don't make anything. I'm going to save all of my materials. I do not plan to use a single one. Don't spend any gems on blueprints. Do not do Holy Knight's treasure. Do not do Hunt for History. Everything you get, just save it for equipment. That's probably the best route to go currently. If you do spend it, you're going to be pretty screwed. Like, you're going to see all your equipment's going to lose either a bunch of effectiveness or become completely redundant. So any equipment you currently have, just save it. Don't use any blueprints. Don't work on any blueprints. Don't make any equipment besides maybe accessories. And just save as many materials and gems as you can for when the new equipment does drop. That is the only advice I can really give you. Maybe go out of your way to do some more equipment-based things. Maybe make sure you're buying materials from the courier station, but that's just basic get more material stuff. And that's really the only advice I can give you. It's very difficult for me to give proper advice at this time about what you can do to at least try and minimize damage from this update. There's not much. It is a big update in a very short period of time that's going to be changing a ton of stuff and ruining a ton of accounts. Now that I'm done ranting about this new update, I'd like to ask you guys to tell me your opinions. Do you agree with me? Are you like this is the worst decision Lilith has ever made? Or are you thinking this guy is an absolute crazy hermit crab that needs to go touch some grass? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to hear how much legendary equipment you have, what you think it's going to do for you. For you whales out there, tell me your opinion because I'm not a whale personally. I can't relate. Even though I've spent a large amount of money on my equipment, my large amount of money is like a daily spending for you. So guys, tell me in the comments what you think of the new update and how you think it's going to affect you. It is going to be very interesting for me to read, and I always respond to all your comments. Now, I shall say thank you much. I hope to see you in the next one.